All right, fine. I'll get up, you crazy mutt. All right. Well, let's pack up. Ready to go, girl? Welcome, dear viewers, to Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. I'm the Couch Warrior, and you are watching The Passage, a Skyrim SE Let's Play featuring Ettien Jorel, the Altmer Ranger, and his companion Garm. They reconnected in the last episode. Garm was here waiting for us at this spot, which has become a bit of a sacred spot, I think, for Ettien. So now we are going to make our way to Solitude. Got a ways to go today, and we are going to be traveling some paths that we have not trod before, which should be kind of interesting. Wow, look at this. It's beautiful. So, I'm thinking that from here we could travel overland this direction, and we should be able to intercept the road somewhere over this ridge. We've not traveled through this area before, but we do know that there's an east-west road. So we should be able to figure that out. What am I doing here? Ah, it's cloak time, yes. Wow, look at that. Level 40 and still many, many unexplored areas. I mean, look at all of the indicators in our compass there. Places that we've never been. Well, no time to really explore at this point. We've got a mission here, so gotta get moving. So the idea is that by the end of the day today, we want to be in Solitude and in a position to start executing on our plan. We've come by kind of a roundabout path, but we've sort of had to do so because Angie needs time to get her part of the plan in gear. And if we just simply traveled to Solitude as quickly as we could, we would have ended up just waiting there anyway. So one thought I had was, let's go by way of a route we haven't traveled before And if we have some opportunities along the way to protect the citizens of Skyrim, we'll do so. All right, girl, you can go off and do some hunting or whatever. I'll see you on the road. I'm going down this way. So I think if we come down here, this is a good point for us to cross the river, and then we'll hit the road and start heading west. Again, we're still kind of in this mode where we're not announcing our presence, but we're not going out of our way to hide it either. In other words, we're not going stealth mode everywhere. We don't want our travels to seem like contrived or unnatural. But we certainly do want to at least attract enough attention through the rumor mill that Angie will be able to operate freely without having to worry about being pursued or anything crazy like that. So again, we're drawing the enemy off in a way, making them chase us around, keeping them preoccupied. Now the good news is that because of our negotiations with Maven, we don't have to worry about Maven's thugs being an issue at this point. Our main concern really is Thalmor. Thalmor soldiers. Justiciars. People like that. So, they're the main concern. This way. How can I be fatigued? Just got 10 hours of sleep. There you go, Garm. Little help for you. See if we can recover some arrows at least. Better than nothing. Let's get back up toward the road. Finish it, Garm. Good girl. Good tag team on that one. Places we've never been. Oh, jeez. Look at all those storm cloaks. Holy cow. One of the things I've observed in this playthrough is that because early on in the playthrough I was so focused on geography as kind of the defining feature of the character, it has the overall effect of making Skyrim seem much larger. I think that's just because there are large areas of the map that we have not explored. Just simply haven't explored. This is a testament. I mean, we've never walked along this road. And we've been adventuring a long time. Many levels. That looks like a threat to society right there, doesn't it? Not anymore. Something else up there, though. Is it a smaller spider? Oh, it's a skeever? Not anymore. Road secure. Anyway, that's just kind of an observation I've made. There have been many times when I have created a new character with the idea that I'm going to focus on a specific quest, for example. And I think that's a pretty typical thing to do, to say, oh, I'm going to focus on a warrior or an assassin, and here are the larger quests that I'm going to focus on. Well, when you've got a playthrough that it's focused on quest-related content, that usually has you going pretty far afield. You're bouncing all over the map from one end of Skyrim to the other. And while that's a cool thing to do, right, it's only one way to play. And that's why I think focusing on geography, for example, as the primary driver rather than a specific quest line is an interesting idea, because it gives the game a completely different feel. Different things are important. So that's one of the things I like about this, and it's part of the reason that I do the podcast, is because I like to try and think of new ways to experience this game, and I like to talk about them, and I like to share them with people, because I think that there's so much enjoyment that a person can get out of this game. I think to play a character through and to experience the game only once is kind of a shame in my view, because there's so much adventure and experience to be had here, and all it takes is a subtle shift in your mindset when you enter the game. Just a subtle shift, and the game can take on a completely different look and feel. I mean, it can be a completely new experience. So that's what I love about it. And I wasn't sure that this whole focus on geography thing was really going to work at first. But it did. It worked really well. I think the Reach was probably the most obvious place to have a geographically focused adventure, just because there's so much going on in the Reach, and all that stuff that's going on there is kind of interrelated, so it makes it really easy to kind of lace all those different events, all those different locations together into what feels like a contiguous story, even though in essence what we have are a whole bunch of different things going on. You got this, girl. That aren't necessarily connected into one continuous quest. They all kind of follow the same theme. So in your mind, it makes it much easier to sort of envision them as being all pieces of a larger story. That may not be as easy a thing to do in other parts of the map. But, all right, what do we got here? Stormcloaks and Legion soldiers are fighting it out. Okay, we need to lend a hand here. If the Imperials come out on top of this conflict, they're going to have nothing better to do than come after us. So, let's try to weaken them. The trick is to weaken them without making the Stormcloaks victims. There's an officer. Got the officer. Uh-oh. We've done some damage, but it may not be enough. Look at this mess. Oh my god. We may be screwed now. We just hit a storm cloak. Come on, girl. Let's move around this way. Our involvement in that conflict needs to be under the radar, man. There needs to be no evidence of our presence, but maybe a few arrows. Helped him out. That guy's toast. Do a lap around here. I don't know if the Stormcloaks are going to come after us or not. Oh, wow, there's more of them over here fighting. Let's see if we can get into a position, an Overwatch position maybe. Looks like it's over. Stormcloak right there. An officer, it looks like. All right, they don't seem to be holding it against us. Let's have a look around. I suppose there is some strategic importance to this location, given it straddles the road and everything. Wow, who's left? Looks like there's only a couple of Stormcloaks that survive this. If there's only a couple of them left, chances are they're going to need to call in reinforcements to gut the inside of this place. So we're going to see if we can do them a service and clean it out. We're good at this sort of thing, right?
Time to end this little game.
Spot than he does. Ugh, that was a cluster from the very start. It's the problem. I can't be very stealthy when I'm with Garm. When Garm is with us, it's pretty much a stand-up fight. So, especially on these, you know, interior environments. Well, not surprising those Nords would want to torture a high elf. All right. Take the healing potions. Oh, there's a tiny one. We'll take that too. All right, girl. Here's what I want. Would you stay here? No? All right. Once again, that's the Garm glitch. But at this point, I think at this moment I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to let it be. And the reason for that is that these two have been separated for a very long period of time, and I'm thinking that her unwillingness to wait is sort of an expression of her unhappiness or unwillingness to leave him alone or not be with him. So, with that in mind, Ettien is going to just deal with the situation out of respect for the dog. Garm says no. Garm means no. Not letting you out of my sight. We've been separated too long now, and I'm tired of you telling me to go places and wait places and deliver things. So she's basically saying, F you. I'm not doing that. Which I think is kind of fitting for her independent nature. Alright. Okay, girl. Don't set this off, please. I don't think there's any more threats in here. Arrows. We'll take those. Alright, good girl. Stay away from that trap. Or is it a trap? Looks like they just chain people to the wall and smash them with it. That's nice. Okay, this is going to take us out. Or not. No. To storage. Seemed like they were some particularly brutal bandits. Creates kind of an interesting situation. So what we've got here is Ettien is kind of an independent actor, a freelance ranger, if you will, in the company of a small force of Stormcloaks who have managed to take this fort by the skin of their teeth, but holed up inside the fort is a group of very angry, desperate, and dangerous bandits. And perhaps the only one sneaky enough, the only one qualified enough to go in there and root them out is the ranger who just happened across this battle in progress. I like the thought of that as a story here. A little mini story, if you will. So Stormcloak officer in charge here asks Ettien if he will take care of the issue. And of course, Ettien says, of course, he will take care of it. Stormcloaks lost the vast majority of their men, so they don't want to risk getting involved inside something even worse. So we're going to take care of it. But we've got Garm in tow, so our options are limited here. Alright. Ugh, this is never going to work. Garm's going to blow my cover before I can do a throat cut. So I think we just got to be realistic here.
Time to end this little game. That's it. That's all he's got.
Finish it, finish it, finish it.
Just a scratch.
I'll finish it. She was stunned. She couldn't respond. So...
Be someone there?
Damn. I am off. It's lucky for me these guys were morons. I'll take that food. Desperate for some protein here. Fighting skeevers and eating them too, it looks like. That's nice. Okay, I think we've got one area of this fortress unexplored. All right, this outbuilding over here. Let's head in.
Kill him. He talks to me like that again. Getting what he said. Ooh, poison.
Someone there.
Gotta like that paralysis. Well, unfortunate day for the barkeep, I would say. All right, well, I think this area is secure. We'll leave the money be, but use a little food for the road if it can be spared. There's not a lot here. Pretty much just meat and potatoes, is that? Not to be confused with meat and potatoes. Alright, looks like our job here is done. Provided as much assistance as we can.
Talos guide you.
You as well. Let's keep moving. Got a ways to go. And we are approaching that point where I think the fatigue is going to be pretty overwhelming unless we find a place to camp for the night. So this looks like possibility. Nice wooded area. Let's see if we can scout out a camping spot. I think, you know, at this stage we've traveled quite a ways overland, but with each step we're drawing closer to our final destination, which is Solitude. And given that, I think we're we're going to see Ettien start to exercise more and more caution. So, with that in mind, we'll try and find a secluded place to camp tonight, but I think that when we embark on our journey again, we're going to have to be going in full stealth mode. I think what we really want to do is we're about to kind of throw ourselves right into the maw, the gaping maw of our enemy. And so I think caution is going to be pretty important here. We definitely don't want to announce our approach to the city, so we'll be looking to get ourselves into solitude quietly, get some rest, do any scouting that we think might be necessary. And then kind of set things in motion. So first I'm interested in trying to find a safe place to build a camp that is not too far off the path we need to travel in the first place. So we're very near the road. I want to get off the road, but I kind of want to be away from some of these ruins, things like that. Ruins, as we've seen many times, tend to attract riffraff, you know? Is that troll coming after the dog? Stuck. Knock it off. God. There are many advantages to traveling with Garm, but I would say the biggest disadvantage is the way that the dog tends to compromise stealth. Even when the dog is being quiet. There's lunch for you, girl. Just seems like she gets spotted quite frequently, so alright, so looks like we'll do a little bit of an overland trek here. Okay, there's the road right back in there. This looks like it could be a good spot right here. Sheltered somewhat. Ugh, there's another ruin there. All right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. We just got ambushed by more Imperials. Holy crap. Even in stealth mode. Again, I'm thinking the dog gave us away. We gotta run for it here, though. There's too many of them. are in trouble. That they've made us turn all the way back around. Well, I hope Garm is okay. She's going to have to make a run for it. What we got to do here, we're going to take regeneration. That'll give us a boost, okay, as we go. Extreme healing to get us back. Fortify marksman. And I think, you know, we do have some paralysis going on here. But let's take a look at our bow. Well, we're not completely down on charge. Let's goose that quick. Okay. Let's see. We boosted our damage a bit. Oh, yeah, I see you. Man, holy cow. These guys are aggressive. They hate the hound something fierce. Got another one. Holy crap. Back up the hill. Whoa, 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 whoa. Terrible. Okay, now, this is like, wow. Normally, I mean, we have such vast quantities of stamina that I don't really need to bother with it. Okay, we're going to amp up the paralysis here, too. We need to get these guys off us big time. And I suppose the true shot couldn't hurt either. Oh, man. Got you again. Dropped his weapon. Come on. Gotcha. Hang in there, girl. Got the officer. God dang it. Bow punch. Die, bastard. Garm's still on the scent here. Yeah. None of these soldiers are making it out alive. No way. Nobody lives. Come on, girl. Who else we got? Could have used you guys about 5 minutes ago. Son of a bitch. That got ugly very, very quickly. But again, worth noting, I'm taking your soup, bitch. Not typically a problem that we have when we're traveling solo, because we can travel quietly. It's the problem. Garm Garm is a great asset, but holy cow, she compromised us big time this time around, and nearly got us killed. I'm going to recover as many arrows as possible. That is a lot of dead Imperial soldiers. Right there. You took some licks, girl. Whew. Well, she gave us away. She did give a lot of these Legion soldiers the runaround long enough that we were able to stay mobile and start picking them off. But, wow. That was very nearly fatal. Oh, sword. Innervating. Huh. This looks like... Come on, girl. Get out of my way. Can you tell I'm frustrated with you right now, dog? Come on out of there. Come out. Somebody's trying to grave rob here. We're going to seal it back shut because that's pretty reprehensible in our view. So we're going to seal that up. Okay. Okay, what am I hearing? Okay, those are storm cloaks. I think we're okay. Alright, we got to camp. So, let's get our tent going. Okay, we got this rock face here. Hey, girl. You just sit right in there, huh? Okay. So, we're going to set up here. It's a kind of a concealed spot. There's a little bowl of rock here. And the approaches are pretty difficult. They can come at us from above, but that's about the only direction that we have to worry about, I think. So, let's have a look and see what we need to do for gathering up some wood, shall we? All right. Let's harvest some dead wood. Pieces. That's good. I mean, come here. Get out of there. Getting on my last nerve there, girl. Been a long day. Okay. That seems doable. There. Kindling. Use our linen wraps, tinder. Use our strike stone. Come on. Too tired for this. There we go. Okay, now, let's see, we're going to... We'll use this firewood up. Just make a flickering fire. And we've got this rabbit haunch we can cook. All right. So, we'll eat that soup, some protein, water, and now we got to get some rest. All right, so 8 p.m. We'll do 10 hours. That'll get us the sleep we need plus a bit extra. And then, but still have us up right around sunrise. Wow, that was unexpected. It is not often that we see Ettien in a position. Oh, is the coals maybe are still warm? Look at her; she's soaking up the warmth. Yeah, good idea. It's not often we see Ettien in a position where he's running out of stamina. That just doesn't happen. So yeah, that was crazy. Clearly, we are entering Legion territory, and being who we are, it's now time for us to be, I think, cognizant of that and make sure we're doing whatever we can to conceal our presence. Obviously, there are some limitations we have while traveling with Garm. There's really nothing to be done about it. So I think that the best thing that we can do at this point is, I think in a situation where there are certain variables we can't control, like the presence of Garm. We've already sort of indicated that she has made the decision that she's not going to be leaving us behind. That's what she's determined. There's going to be a point where she has to. She can't follow us, in the front door of the embassy. But in a situation where, we have some variables that we can't control, we got to change up the game. And so what I am going to do here is, I think, change up that which we can control, and namely our route. So rather than traveling the road or even paralleling the road, we are going to choose a path forward that takes us through some pretty unhospitable terrain, namely the huge marsh. We're going to go right through the heart of the marsh. We may contend with some predators there, but that is far better than contending with a lot of soldiers. And just, I guess, generally and historically speaking, huge swamps and marshes have been the kiss of death for many, many armies throughout history. So we're going to take a page from that book and say we're going to select terrain to travel through here that organized groups of soldiers would be far less likely to travel. And we are familiar enough, I think, with the area that this makes sense for us. Now let's go to instincts. Okay, so we're going to do our best here, even with Garm. Mainly at this point, we're just concerned about threats such as predators and bandits and things like that, which is far more tolerable than large patrols of roving soldiers. So, come on, girl. Can we at least try to be a little bit quiet? So, I mean, ultimately, that's where we need to go. So, right through the heart of the swamp seems like a great approach. My guess is that, the average citizen of Skyrim wouldn't be caught dead in this swamp. So I think the fact that this is kind of an inhospitable and scary place also will work to our advantage a little bit, and hopefully we will encounter few issues. What's that structure? Okay. That would be the lighthouse over there. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we came quite a bit further north than I had realized. Okay, cool. We'll still do as much as we can to keep from getting completely soaked. There's some kind of a dwelling over there. We want to stay away from that. Quiet now. Quiet, Garm. You're going to stress out the viewers. They're all tense right now. They're all biting their nails. Okay. Predator. Right there. No need to start something. Just good to mark their location. Keep track of them. Beautiful day. Beautiful day to wander the swamp. Wow, it must be like a woodpecker preserve here. Seriously, I mean, it is gorgeous, is it not? It really is. Well, I have to say, y'all, I've noticed a lot of you kind of waxing nostalgic about this Let's Play and this character. We've been through a hell of a lot. Kind of, it's always amazing, like, you know, coming to the end of something when you look back and it seems like Level 1, Episode 1 was so long ago. And now here we are, all these experiences under our belt, all of these experiments tried, all this character development taking place, level 40. Makes it tough sometimes to see a story end. But again, you know, some people have been asking, you know, whether or not Ettien would come back. Oh, sure. I think he would. I mean, I've been saying for a while now that I sort of considered everything that we've been doing with Ettien to be sort of a, I don't know, a book in a series. To be honest with you, I sort of feel like all of our experiences in the Reach leading up to, say, episode 42 was book 1 in his story. Book 2 in his story, I feel like, was all about breaking the chains, escaping captivity. If you remember, we talked about slipping the leash, right? So book 2 would be slipping the leash, and we're almost at the end of book 2, but I don't know, I kind of think of Ettien's story as being like a fantasy trilogy, you know? There's certainly a lot left that we could do. We've got a lot of things that we haven't explored yet. There's still some powerful individuals out there we owe some payback to, stuff like that. There's still, you know, Ettien, he may shed some enemies, but he's always got more. You know, there's always more where that came from. So, I don't see it as the end. I could see him definitely coming back. All right. Well, let's do a time check, shall we? All right, we made great time. Not even 9:30 yet. Well, I'm sure Ettien's not going to be too excited about it, but I feel like we've got a swim in our future here. Although this is not the ideal time to do it. So, I get the feeling that probably the best course of action here for us is to... We need to wait for some cover and then make our move across the harbor. We're going to swim it like we did last time. The advantage we have this time over last time is that now that we are higher level in alchemy, we actually have better potions at our disposal for protecting us from the cold. So, really, at this point, it's just about waiting for cover. So, if we get some fog rolling in during the middle of the day, we might make the swim during the day. Otherwise, we wait for nightfall. And this is, in my view, the right course of action. We definitely can't be taking the main roads. We certainly cannot be walking in the front door. So none of those are going to be options. I mean, seriously, if I could, the Hound would totally scale that rock and climb the wall. That would be cool, would it not? I don't suppose that can be done. But we got a little time to kill. Let's have a look around. Can you make it? No. Hup. There we go. Spitted meat, but a cold campfire. Glowing shadows. See what we got in here. And there's nothing definitive to say that this is a bandit camp or not. No telltale skooma bottles or things like that. Boy, wouldn't that be brilliant if you could scale this? That would be amazeballs. But I just don't think it's a possibility. Too much. Too many unclimbable cliff faces here. See, like, if a person could get up there, it almost looks like it's at a doable angle, doesn't it? Really? Oh, what the heck. Let's have a peek. See what happens. Just curious. Oh, come on. Just curious. I'm just curious. Oh, yeah. I never got up this far before. Yeah, it's kind of like we're one level removed from being able to actually make the climb. Jeez, even if you could climb that tree, right? Like, you could make a jump across. At this point, I'm just screwing around, but it's intriguing, isn't it? So this side, I don't think there's really anything to climb. Let's go take a look anyway. You never know. You never know. You never know when the devs are going to put something in here for an industrious rock climber like us. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come on. Even if it is a dead end, it's a cool spot. Okay, let's zoom out. Oh, see, like, look at that. Yeah, that's not going to get us anywhere, though, is it? Nowhere but a fall to our death. All right. Well, let's continue around. Certainly worth exploring. Look at this. Little out-of-the-way spot. Perfect spot here for you to lay out your rough sleeping gear, right? Sheltered from the rain. I love doing this kind of stuff. You know what's kind of fun is... Oh, what's happening? When I first created this character, it was just... One of my favorite things to do was to find sort of out-of-the-way spots to set up these campsites and stuff. It's pretty cool. All right, well, it was worth exploring. Got into some areas I've never been before, so that's pretty cool. Hey, girl. But yeah, look at that. I mean, it almost looks like if you got up in there, you could climb it, right? So we've got in our bag an invitation to a party. We're gonna use that. We got to meet up with Delphine, who is responsible for getting us something suitable to wear to said party. But we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants just a bit once we're in there. We don't have a specific plan because we really don't know what the personnel are going to be in there, and we don't really know what our primary objective is. We want to get at Elenwen. And I think ultimately we have to deal with Elenwen. And if that means assassinating her, then that's what it means. As Ettien is considering it at this point, the only way that he can think of to eliminate the Thalmor threat is to, you know, in some way neutralize Elenwen and force a change in management. Now, that's not to say that the next person who comes along won't make taking out the Hound their highest priority, but I think what Ettien is doing is he's gambling that that's not going to be the case. And here's my reasoning on that. The fact that the Thalmor brought us in from outside to do clandestine things for them here, and the fact that they worked so hard to try to disavow any knowledge of us, and then when push came to shove, to betray and kill us, suggests to me that there was something unethical or against regulations, or something that the Thalmor, the Altmeri Dominion as an organization would frown upon. I sort of get the feeling like Elenwen bringing us in to do these tasks is a no-no, and she's trying to conceal it from her superiors. And that's just the impression that we're getting based on how much time and effort they've put into trying to track down one man and eliminate him. They've poured all kinds of resources into this, which sort of suggests that they have something to hide, that there's fear of discovery. So, when Ettien looks at it from that perspective, he's considering that there may be multiple opportunities. I mean, one obvious opportunity is to simply eliminate Elenwen, and then whoever comes in afterwards, after this entire debacle is over, the person who comes to clean up the mess will likely take a look at what was going on, discover this whole secret initiative around the Hound, and try to clean the mess up, sweep it under the rug, and start fresh, right? So part of what he's thinking is that if he can force a change in, I think, the Aldmeri Dominion's hierarchy of control here in Skyrim, that he might be able to sort of slip away, slip under the radar, if you will, disappear, and that the person who takes over would just as soon forget his existence rather than pour any more resources into trying to find him and kill him. So, you know, that's one approach. The other is the idea of possibly finding some way to use this leverage that he has over Elenwen to basically blackmail her into leaving him alone and being silent. So that's one possibility as well. So I don't know. We'll just have to see how it all shakes out. All right, so I think what we're going to do here is we're going to commit to our swim, and I think we're just going to have to wait for a while. Let's wait for 4 hours, see if we get any change in the weather. Like I said, a change in the weather is the only circumstance I can think of where he would attempt to swim during the day. All right. So we go another 4 hours. Should give us some darkness finally. All right. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take off the armor. All this stuff, and it's going to get packed into the backpack. Okay? The idea being that we're going to try and keep the gear as dry as we possibly can, and we're going to rely on potions to protect us from the cold during our brief swim. And then we know we've got a hiding spot. Now this would be a terrible idea if we didn't immediately have a place to go in order to recover, but we literally have a hiding spot right on the opposite shore. So we're going to make the swim, and then we'll be able to rest, dry out our gear, and make preparations for our next steps. So, let's have a look here. We've got some resist cold. That was 50%. This is 33%. So, all right. 50% resistance to cold, and we've got basically 1 minute to make that swim before we really start getting into serious cold territory. So let's do it. Okay, I'm picking my spot carefully because I can do the first third of the swim concealed by a boat, which helps. We'll swim as much of it underwater as we can. Okay, come on, girl. Alright, now we gotta get to our hidey hole pretty quick here. And I think what I'm going to do is we'll equip the daggers just in case we have to clear any vermin out of there. It has been a while since we've been back here. There we go. Okay, yeah, there's all this gear we left behind before. It's very helpful. Okay, we did it. So, let's set up shop here. Light our candle. All right, dry clothing. All right, very good. Well, that is it for now. We're going to get some rest here. And then tomorrow we've got the better part of the day to kind of make preparations for the party, which will be at the Thalmor Embassy tomorrow night. So thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of The Passage and all the previous ones. I really do appreciate your patronage to my channel, and I will see you next time.